Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Let's move on then to the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings last year finished 56-26, and they got to the Western Conference Finals where they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. What was your favorite move that the Timberwolves made?
Well, now they were a busy team.
Yeah, they were.
I do like that. I do like they got Dante, but that's kind of like six here, half a dozen in another, depending on how you view it.
Right.
But I do like that they made the move for Dillingham.
Man,
Like
yep, me too.
drafting him, like it's a good long-term piece while you can fit him in now, and he's not like you don't need to rely on him, especially now that you have Dante, but you can work him in to these lineups that have big guys behind him, have defense behind them. So I think it's a good. A lot of times these teams can't balance the present with the future because you got to do almost feels like you got to do one or the other. And Minnesota sucked that one in there where if they can develop him, you can kind of find a piece in the middle because Connolly, obviously, he's getting older and you don't know you don't know how much he has left in the tank. So if Connolly can last a year and you can get Dillingham up to speed, it's a good long term move.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And the thing is with Cat, I'm not Cat, Anthony Edwards, Ant. I was thinking Ant, not Cat. Anthony Edwards, he's still pretty young. So if this guy pans out, you still have somebody Dillingham pans out, like him and Ant are relatively similar in age. Like I think they're like 5 years apart or 4 years apart, but they're on the younger side of their career. So as like Conley and Gobert start to age out, kind of, you can now hand the I mean, it's already Anthony Edwards' team, but now you got Dillingham to kind of replace that. So the new guard is in place. If you're right, if they develop him correctly, yeah.
Yeah, you can hopefully extend the window out, and we can get to it with other moves for the future. What with Gobert and Julius Randle, what they do with those contracts over the next couple of years.
Correct, yeah. So I did also like getting Dante DiVincenzo, good piece, a connector guy, but he shot like what 42% or something from three last year. So 40% from three, he was awesome. So good, that was a good pickup in that trade. But let's talk about our least favorite move. What was your least favorite move?
I struggled to find find one because I like what they did. I guess my least favorite move would be if they do extend Julius Randle,
Okay.
but they haven't done that yet. Just because I like it'll come up to other questions like where does he fit
Yeah,
on
we're gonna
this
talk about
team
that for sure.
exactly?
Yeah, we're gonna talk
So
about that for
I
sure.
yeah
Yeah.
I didn't have a move where I was like nah, well, this is garbage.
Yeah, the thing that I like, so it's kind of like, so again, some of these teams we got to get a little nitpicky on, right? So it's like, to me, the Timberwolves got farther than any Timberwolves team before, other than Kevin Garnett, right? Like Kevin Garnett is, but it's been a long time. They seem to grow, they connect, and they finally get to the Western Conference, and then they just like shake everything up, which I find really weird and strange for a team to do. I did put, it's not that I'm in love with the player, but the Cat trade just kind of didn't make sense. I know he had a bad series, but they don't beat the Nuggets without Cat. Like that's just a fact. You're not beating the Nuggets. So now the question is, you got to play the Nuggets again. Are you going to be able to beat the Nuggets now that you are one man down? That was a pivotal reason why you won that series. And so I guess like the reason why I didn't like the trade, I don't know if it was necessary. I'd like to see them kind of run it back one more time, see how it all played out. If you start the season slow, then make a big trade like that. And if you started the season hot and who knows, maybe Cat matures a little bit, someone, who knows, Anthony Edwards gets better, you're back in the same spot. You're still a great team, you know what I'm saying? But so I felt like a lot of almost desperate moves for a team that doesn't need to be desperate. I guess that's where I landed on it. So the Cat trade kind of, I didn't care for it that much when you think about like, what they've done and how far they gotten. Why not just run it back one more year?
Yeah, I mean that is a good one. It's hard, you know, if you put yourself in a fan of that where it's been a rough long time, and then
Yeah.
you get there and you're like, all right, let's change the formula. And as you were talking, I listened to a preview pod on the Nuggets, and the one guy that is the Nuggets reporter, when they were speaking of the Timberwolves, brought out the trouble Jokic had was Karl Anthony Towns is like legit 7 feet with a big wingspan. So Jokic can't just face up and just shoot over him all the time. So he has to think, and they had Gobert behind him. If you're going to put Julius Randle on him, he can just turn and shoot over Julius Randle. Julius Randle's strong, but he's a shorter guy. He's not going to get up and block a shot, which, as you were talking, brought that point to, all right, yeah, physically, Julius Randle can probably hold his ground, but again, he's smaller. Naz Reid, I don't think can hold his ground on Jokic, at least for a series. So you are right in that specific matchup. Like maybe you took away some of your advantage and you got a little smaller, but it might help you in another matchup. This could be one where if they get Oklahoma City, this looks great. If they get Denver again, you're like, well, now we can't beat Denver again.
True. That's a good point. Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Okay, what's your biggest question for the Timberwolves?
Do they still have the versatility? I think they do on the perimeter, but your big versatility, to me, it comes down to Julius Randle. Is he going to be happy if he's not closing? Like ideally, I don't think he's closing, depending on the matchup. I mean, if you get if Gobert has to leave the floor, all right, then maybe he's in there. But then you're gonna choose him over Naz Reid, for some spacing. So I think you have versatility, but you have to find it and convince Julius Randle in a contract year or Rudy Gobert coming up on a contract year that you're just not going to play in some of these closing lineups. And if they're a team player, you can accept it if things are going well. But if they struggle for a stretch, what happens?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good one because again, it's the chemistry issue, and then I kind of put down Randall and Ant on the court together. I just don't know about that. Like they're both kind of black holes on the offense, right? They're not much of like playmakers, distributors. Not that they can't pass the ball or distribute the ball. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they are both scorers. They are looking to score the ball. They're black holes. So when they're on the court together, can they even find success? Or is it going to be pretty easy to cover because neither one of them you would say is a catch and shoot guy either. So I just am very interested to see how that duel when they are on the court together. Let's say if Randall starts, right? How's that going to work out? That's going to be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, they're both methodical. Like they don't catch the ball and it's just like boom, move past. It's face up, Randall back down, 2-3 dribbles, decide what you're going to do. Creates a lot of standing. And Anthony Edwards is kind of like the perimeter version of that. He doesn't just go, go, go. If he gets the ball face up, think of it. So you're right. What's the other one doing when the one is pounding the rock for 5 seconds?
Correct. Any other points or questions you want to talk about?
The only thing I put down is, I mean, what if Rudy Gobert is just declining? Like he had his stretches last year and he played fine, but like on Team France, they were more than happy to put him on the bench. And I know that's the Olympics and you have special circumstances, but now if you're starting Randall over Naz Reid, like he might become a little more of the focal point, especially his limits offensively.
Yeah.
So I just what if he sucks now?
Yeah,
what if it just, then this plan you had suddenly turns into now we don't have any rim protection.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good point. And I wonder, like, again, a lot of the times I need questions, especially in the West, I guess I've thought like, oh, is this player going to survive this season on this team? So my two options obviously would be Gobert and Randall. Like which one would be more like, is that a possibility that the Wolves has to move one of those guys because you talked about the contract year and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Wolves do after all these trades. Prediction?
Despite all that, I still have them as a contender. I do think they're still really good.
100% with you on that. Okay, let's do the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.